Welcome to Soul Brew, where healing conversations flow as freely as the tea. Join us as we dive deep into the depths of the human experience, one sip at a time. Grab your favorite mug, settle into a cozy spot, and chime in on a conversation that will nourish your soul. Hey now. Well, everyone, welcome. This is our episode of Soul Brews, Healing Conversations Over Tea. We have Jillian here. She is also a Reiki master. And we are going to have a conversation today about just Reiki and how Reiki shows up in our lives. And yeah, that's pretty much what's going on for today. So welcome, Jillian. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. I always love to talk about Reiki,
Right.
so I'm excited.
It is fun. It's fun because it's something that I know that I practice all day long. And so meeting other Reiki masters is always fun for me because I know that we align in that because it's a practice you have to practice all day long. So I guess this conversation is for anyone who has an interest in Reiki or is also Reiki master and just wants to be in the conversation with us. But yeah, so let's start. I guess, how did Reiki find you, or how did you initially find Reiki in your life?
So Reiki found me in, I believe it was late 2016 or early 2017. I was working as a personal trainer at the time, and I had quite a lot of other issues I was working through. So depression, anxiety, I was a server. So there was just a lot going on. And, I had also just recently discovered meditating as a way to sort of facilitate my healing. And I was in a business networking group as a personal trainer, and I would talk about meditating all the time because I thought it was so cool. And then this one woman, she was a massage therapist, she approached me and said, I think that you should learn Reiki. And I had no idea what it was. I had no experience whatsoever. And then when I took the class, it was like one of those things where I felt like I just knew it already. The class was very informal, and we flew through it, and I just had this weird knowing about what to do and how to work it. And I'm the type of person where when I learn something new or cool, I jump in with both feet. So I right away started doing practice sessions and, putting it all into my intentions and everything like that. And it just snowballed. I was right at the door whenever I was ready for the next level, and I upgraded as much as I could throughout the years because I just really felt the magic of it and also saw the effects of it in my life very clearly. So it was just, it was a yes right from the start. How about yourself?
Oh, I love that. I love, we all have our story of why we would bring this into our life so deeply. And so for me, very similarly, a lot of people around me would always kind of say, like, you should learn Reiki, you should learn Reiki. But I had no idea what that was. And I was managing a spa, a luxury spa, and we had it on the menu. And so here it is, this thing where it's like we have massages, body treatments, and then Reiki. And every time I'm like describing like, oh, it's energy work. They do energy on you. And I really don't know what I'm saying. But I would see clients come in and clients go. And I was just always kind of intrigued, but still not connecting with what is happening. But my like blanket statement was just, it's energy work. And so I just kept hearing people say, like, you should get into this. You have such a nice energy, or you have a nice vibe. So I would just get the compliment. So I think that's what the seed that was planted but I didn't actually take it seriously until I got pregnant. And I learned about, and it's so funny, I share this story so much and I don't even know it's true, but it's true for me. But I learned about a woman who was pregnant and she was in a coma. And in the coma, she pushed out the baby. So the baby came. So to me, it was just this reading this story and kind of being like, how is this even possible? And really digging into just the idea of energy. So not necessarily Reiki, but just how powerful energy is. And I didn't know what energy was. So I went on a deep dive and I remembered those conversations where people said, practice Reiki, or get into that. And so I think that was the seed. And once I did, I birthed my baby with like a couple pushes, like barely any pain, and just that my intuitiveness that came through by practicing Reiki, it was just unmatched. So I think I'll just never go back. Like I became a believer by seeing that transformation happen. So yeah.
Well, I think I always say to, my students and that like Reiki will make sure that it finds you at the right time. And, if you're meant to be a Reiki master, people will start coming to you being like, do you teach Like
Yep.
it has such a funny way of making itself known. So I love that part of your story is like, everyone would say,
Yeah.
you should learn Reiki. 'Cause like, I'm like, that was Reiki doing that. Like being like, hello, yes, it's for you. And then I also love the part about your birth story because
Mhm.
actually, number one, it makes me really excited for when I get to give birth one day because I've like since I've been doing this work, I'm totally with you on like I think it's our body's meant to do it. It shouldn't be that hard and like I want to do a home birth and all this stuff. And so hearing stories like yours really makes me feel excited because I'm like, "Oh wow, like people actually really do it." See?
Yes.
So, yeah,
Yeah, I
so
was
I
I was
love
pretty
that.
surprised by the process of honestly just me and my baby. Just it was just us. Like, it's a whole room full of people. And I was convinced that those people had no idea what they were doing. Yes, they do it all the time. I get it, but no one knew what was going on with me. So when the doctor's telling me to push, I knew I wasn't ready to push. And so, they're saying push, push. And I'm like, no, she doesn't know. Like I could feel me. And so that's really it's the power of that Reiki. It's the power of that unconditional love, that just deep intuitiveness that was able to come through. And keep in mind quickly, like it's only months of practice that I was able to kind of just tap in. So I love that. I love that and you are already a teacher of this, so I guarantee you're gonna have an easy birth.
I'm
Yeah.
excited for that day. Nowhere
Yes.
close, but one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
no, it is like the intuition part is such an important part. And I don't know, like, if or have you taught Reiki before?
yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if
I
I've
also
asked if you've
teach.
taught. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So when
I
you've taught,
teach. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, I was just gonna say, like, sometimes you'll get students that are like, I need the full plan. You need to give me A, B, C, D, E. How does this work? And they're so like type A, right? Which isn't a bad
Yes.
thing. I get why people are that way, but when people are like that, I almost sometimes give a little less because I'm like, the point is for you to create your own practice
Yes.
and your own way of doing it and your own method, and like your intuition will come online. And so much of Reiki is about that trust and surrender. And it's hard for us humans to let go
Mhm.
of control and trust and surrender. And so even in sessions over the years, my sessions have changed so much because I truly know now, like, it's not me doing it. It's the Reiki. It's higher consciousness energy. I am just the facilitator. And so, like, whatever is meant to happen will happen, and the sessions actually become more powerful when you do finally learn that. But Yeah, I just think you're like you hit the nail on the head with the intuition part, and I love that it showed up so quickly for you because it is such a big part of Reiki, and in spiritual development in general, which is what Reiki is doing for all of us that practice it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. And I do have those students who are there that are like, do you have a PDF for this? Is there a book that I could follow? Is there, because we're so used to that structure, that Western structure of this is the next module, and this lesson. And really it's such a flow and to watch people go from that like type A to just allowing is actually one of the most beautiful rewards that I get from teaching is being able to see someone go from like, I just want to be a master. I want to know what this is to, oh, I'm already a master. Just like they have a general peace in them to witness that in such a short amount of time too, right? It doesn't take long for that
Mhm.
shift to happen. So beautiful.
Mhm.
So that brings me to my next question, which is how how do you use Reiki in your everyday life? How do you incorporate this flow into your world?
Oh, I mean, in so many ways.
I
I know we
know.
were talking before we hit record about like, yeah, it's a part of every day, all the time. But I am such a huge intention user, and once again, back on the trust. It's like once I set an intention, I trust that it's going to work out however it's supposed to, even if it's not how my mind thinks it's supposed to. So I have Reiki grids all over my house for all different reasons, and I have the best intentions for my clients and protecting my pets and my house and for my business. And when I started, I was very what would be disciplined in all, charging them a lot. Now I only charge them when I feel like I really need to. But before all my sessions, I use Reiki intention as well as pretty much every day. I do like a self Reiki session, midday kind of Reiki nap.
Mhm.
Um, and anytime I have a headache or if I'm feeling confused about something or I'm having big emotions, I'll always take that time to sit down and connect with the Reiki energy and see where it wants to go and feel into it in my body. And I always end up feeling better with answers and oftentimes without a headache as well, which is
Yeah.
nice.
Following that
Yeah.
intuition completely.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would say mine is weaved into, yeah, as you said, every day, every moment. I realize for me to be a teacher, to be able to be spreading this all the time, that everything is a check-in, everything is Reiki to me. My friends and family around me, I'm known as like the check-in girl because I'm always like, how's everybody feeling? Like, let's just take a
Hmm.
moment to check in. Let's check in with you and see where you're at in this moment. And I do that for myself. So I think I do that for the people around me because I'm constantly like literally like, should I go left or right today when I'm going in the street? And what I've learned is that Reiki gives me this sense of peace versus going against Reiki, which is that like contraction, that kind of so that I'm holding on to something. So when I notice myself like tense up, when I notice myself kind of be in a stressful mindset, I just apply Reiki to that. And so I've learned that it's way more comfortable to be in peace than to be in the stress. And so I do that
Hmm.
with everyday things, even just us getting on this call, right? I'm checking in and I'm kind of like, should we do this call? Should we not? Should we move it? Like I'm constantly asking questions and I'm seeing where the expansion is happening in my body to make sure that
Hmm.
I'm aligned. And that's part of it too, is that I'm living a very intentional, aligned life. So in order
Mhm.
to be aligned, I must check in often to make sure. And it's the simplest things. Do I say hi to my neighbor today or do I just let him go? It's I read the room constantly. I read the energies constantly, but most importantly, I read my own energy and apply
Mhm.
Reiki where it's needed. So, yeah.
Totally understand that. I I love that you bring Reiki into that because I totally do the exact same thing. Like I'm always checking in, like even, first thing in the morning, like, am I gonna have a coffee? Am I gonna have a bath? Am I gonna go to the gym? And I'm like feeling into each possible scenario.
Yeah.
And I absolutely think that through Reiki practice, it's what's made me so aware of energy all the time within myself and, like you mentioned, within other people too. Knowing, okay, they're maybe feeling, not themselves today, or how do I best approach my relationships? That Reiki has been a huge help for those kinds of things as well, with knowing how to interact with other people and non-judgmentally, just from a place of like, this is what I see, this is what I feel, and knowing myself. I think that is one of the biggest things with Reiki. In the Reiki that I practice, they talk about the authentic self, and they talk about the way of Reiki, and that we're always becoming more of our authentic self and bringing in more of our higher self into our body. There's no limit to the amount of Reiki that we can allow into our bodies. And I think the more and more that you align with that authentic self, the easier that check-in becomes, and the easier the intention becomes, and well, the easier everything becomes,
Yeah.
really. But it is like a never ending, always unfolding process of like more and more of that yes feeling, and just always making sure that I'm in alignment with that yes, and also being very honest if it's a no, and honoring that as well, which is equally important. And I accredit Reiki to like all of my, like everything in my life. I wouldn't be who I am today and where I am today if I didn't have Reiki and if it hadn't found me. And it makes going through the struggles and through the journey easier. It helps with the path, and it brings you what you need when you need it, and it releases what you don't need when you no longer need it. It's like having some like little extra friends,
Yeah.
over your shoulder, to help to guide you.
I totally agree. I mean, f physiology alone, I just love that my body gets to be relaxed. Just, I love because I do remember a time when I was constantly like moving in tension, like not intentionally, but in super tension. Like my shoulders would be stressed. I'd be like crunched up. Maybe like my jaw, like everything was tense about me. And it was such a long time ago, but I remember it. And so I'm so grateful to be able to just have this overall peace and flow and openness in my body through this Reiki practice. So, yay.
Mhm.
So, what is one misconception that people have about Reiki that you wish that people understood? This is a fun one because it's so many.
I know so many misconceptions about Reiki. I think, um, well, number one, people who think it's associated with some kind of a religion, or some kind of, you have to be able to meditate, or you have to have certain gifts or powers to do Reiki, because Reiki isn't associated with any religion. It actually encourages all to seek whatever spiritual path is for their highest good. Um, there's also different, I guess there's different types of Reiki out there. And in my Reiki, we keep the symbols sacred and secret to ourselves because it helps to protect the potency of them. And I think sometimes people don't fully understand how the process works, and with the attunements and everything, that you do need an attunement in order to give Reiki. I also have a lot of people throughout the years that I've met. They're like, well, I don't need Reiki. Like, I just do energy healing on my own, which, I mean, yes, you probably do, and it's probably great, but Reiki doesn't use your own energy. It's channeling that higher dimensional energy. And so I think if people are not as educated, maybe they don't understand the effects that using your own energy to heal others can have on you,
Mhm.
as well as them. Um, because our egos aren't involved when we do Reiki, and so we're not putting our own energy into the person. And we're not tired or drained after, and all of this kind of stuff that I think Reiki really helps with. And I know from people who do their own energy healing and then take Reiki, they're like, wow, this is
Mhm.
so much better, so much, cleaner, so much more powerful. So I think, yeah, that misconception that like, oh, I don't need Reiki, I think that is a big one. Because you don't need it, of course, but it's being open to it. It can really help. And I think, especially in the spiritual journey, having resources and modalities and things that are, a little more structured or a little bit more long-standing. They're reputable. They've been around for a while and whatever else. It can be really helpful. And it's not to limit you to be like, well, this is all you can do, because once again, Reiki's ever unfolding, ever developing. People that take Reiki, some of my Reiki classes, they've gone on to be mediums or channel higher vibrational light or whatever else. But it's meant to kind of like help support you and contain you and make sure it's done in a really responsible and ethical and safe way, because the energy world, there's a lot of stuff out there, and
Mhm.
sometimes it can be a little bit, there's certain guides in certain realms that maybe aren't the highest good. And with Reiki, we're really channeling that unconditionally loving, free will respecting energy.
Yeah. I mean, you said a lot there. Um, and I am with you 100% on all of that.
Sometimes I
Yes.
don't have control over it. It just comes out.
No, but I'm with you. I get it, especially when you were saying there's a lot of other energies and things that come up, and having this unconditional love practice has been my favorite in encountering other energies. So, yeah, mine would be also what you said. The misconception is that you use your own energy. And I see that when with new students too, because that's the first thing. They're like, I'm tired, and I'm like, no, then you're doing it wrong, because you should not be tired after a session. You should be energized. You should have that flow of energy going through you. So if you are tired after a session, that is an indication that you're channeling incorrectly, because it's not using your energy. It's going through you, which is empowering you, and then they get to double up by having it come from you and from source. Like it's just being a channel. And so that's one where I feel like there's confusion. But even just thinking about my past self, who knew nothing about energy at all, when someone would just say, "This is energy work." I mean, it's there's just so many layers to it. But ultimately mine too, the one that I love just knowing, because some half the time I don't even use Reiki. I just say love. Like it's just pure unconditional love, and embodying pure unconditional love straight from source, straight from higher power, straight into you, and then giving that to other people. That's another example of how it shows up as an energy, it shows up as actions, it shows up as how I show up in the world and how I pour love into others and people. It doesn't hurt me to do this. It's literally just love. So
So true. Yes. And yeah, I love that. And it's something that you really embody the more you work with it and the more you practice it, the more you understand how deep that love really is and what that really is. I think I like what you said about people feeling tired after, because I do think a lot of people, a lot of healers, we have a little bit of that people pleaser in us where we want to like give the best session, or we want to channel all this information, or we want to I've had students before who have had sessions with me and then they go to do Reiki and they're like, oh, well, but I didn't get all this psychic information, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, that's not even the Reiki. Like that's me and my gifts and like what I've cultivated. But like Reiki actually isn't any of that. Like that's something that will develop for yourself over time. But Reiki really is just that love. It's just that energy, and it knows what to do. And like coming back to what you said at the very beginning when you were like, yeah, what did you say? Well, it's energy work, or, oh, they're doing energy or something like
doing
that. You
energy.
said that, like, yeah, yeah. And I laughed when you said that earlier, because I was like, I think because I've been doing it for so long, I often think everybody knows what energy is. How could they not? It's
No.
energy. But like, no, people don't. And like, yeah, like my philosophy in life is like everything is energy. Like anything that is unhealed can be healed. And it's just a matter of finding the root and filling it with love. Like you just said, like
Yeah.
bringing light to any of the darkness and releasing those energetic blocks. And the possibilities are limitless and endless. So, yeah, so I love your misconception share as well.
Beautiful. So I'm sure you and I could talk about this forever. But let this be our first conversation where we just kind of dig into things, but hopefully we could have another one of these soon. So I just want to thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up and sharing all of your beautiful wisdom. I look forward to connecting with you so much more. And yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining us today for a soul nourishing episode of Soul Brew, where healing conversations flow as freely as the tea. I hope you found solace, wisdom, and inspiration in our dialogue. And until next time, take a moment to sip slow, breathe deep, and embrace the healing power of connection. Stay tuned for more heartwarming conversations over tea. And until then, may your cup overflow with peace and serenity. Take care.